Hey everyone, hope you guys are all staying warm. It's so cold and chilly out here today. But this video is going to be about starting the trail alone or by yourself. So starting the Appalachian Trail, depending on when you start, there's going to be a ton of people starting with you. So that's why they call it the most social trail of the three, the Triple Crown, PCT, CDT, and AT. The AT is definitely the most social by far. There is a lot of people that are going to be doing this journey as well. I see on a lot of forums, and I've had people ask me if I was afraid to start alone or if I hike the trail alone. I get that question probably one of the most, is if I did the trail by myself. And yes, I did. I was a solo hiker because I was going out there with a set of plans. When I did the trail in 2018, I was getting ready for some big races that I was going to do right after the trail, the Triple Crown of 200s. So I was trying to simulate doing the races. So I'd do 4 hard days and then take an easy day and then go 4 hard days again. So I was kind of doing my own thing, and I wanted to be on my own schedule and time. So it just worked out for me to go solo. But a lot of people did not go solo when they were doing their trek, their through hike on the AT that I saw, and it was cool. You know, of course, you hike your own hike, and you can do it however you want to. But people are concerned about starting the trail alone, and I have some comments and thoughts on that I thought I would share. So again, depending on when you start is how many people will be starting with you. So they call the term the bubble is it's when a huge group of hikers start around the same time, and that's usually March 1st. A ton of people will be starting in March, early March, mid-March. So if you go on to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, where you can register for your hike, you can see on a chart how many people will be starting on what date. Now that's not set in stone, but it's just a rough estimate of how many people are registered and when they plan to start their hike. Not that everybody is committed to and has to start at that time, but it just kind of gives you an idea. And also keep in mind that not everybody will register. So, but it's a good source to kind of take a look at. For this year, coming up, 2021, this is going to be a huge hiking year. And because a lot of people were not able to either start or complete their through hike in 2020 because of COVID, so it's going to be a huge year. I've been watching the Conservancy registration, and a huge amount of people are going to be starting in February. So and even more, like a ton of people starting in March. So I say all of that because if you're worried or concerned about starting the trail by yourself, you will be starting with a lot of people. If you start in either mid to late February or anytime in March, you're going to have a ton of people. Like hundreds of people are going to be out there. So you will find people that hike similar to your pace, that you can join a tramily or create a tramily. It's called a tramily, like a trail family. So it's a group of hikers that get together that decide that they're going to kind of keep an eye on each other and stay within the same range. Now that doesn't mean that they have to hike the whole trail together, but it's nice to have a group of people. It could be, I've seen them as a group of 2 to a group of, I think the biggest one I saw was a group of 5, but you could have more than that. There's no limit or rule, but they would all just kind of keep an eye on each other, make sure everybody was okay. If they had any problems, they were there to rely on each other. They would stay in communication, and a lot of times they would meet and stay at the same shelter or campsite or stealth camp together along the trail as they went. And Sometimes people would have to get off the trail for whatever reason and go visit family or go to a wedding or whatever, and they would come back and catch up with their tramily if they can. So like I said, there's no rule on how to set up a tramily, or if you have to even stay with them the whole time. You can start out with a group and then decide you want to be solo. I saw that happen, and they just finish the hike on their own. Everybody's going out there for so many different reasons. So whatever you're going out to accomplish, you have to be able to do that. So sometimes that's with other people, and sometimes it's being by yourself to have time to think and be alone and process or whatever you're doing. So, but you do have lots of options out there. There's so many people out there with so many different hiking styles and speeds that you're bound to find someone that is kind of within your range, that you can kind of stick together with if that is what you want to do or choose to do. It's extremely common. So don't be scared to start the trail at least the first day by yourself. A lot of people said they don't want to start the first day at Springer Mountain alone. But don't be afraid to start alone. You will find people. Don't worry, especially if you're starting late February and anytime in March. There's so many people out there. So don't worry about it at all. And if you want to have more of a solo hike and kind of be away from the crowds and away from the people, the term is you want to stay ahead of the bubble, or try to shoot for that if you can. That's typically what I try to do. I like to be more on my own. I like to not be so caught up in the crowd and a lot of people. So I prefer to stay ahead of the bubble if I can, if it works out that way. It worked out well in 2018 when I did it. I didn't have any problems, and any major problems. And so, but everybody is different in what they prefer. I mean, if you are a social person and you want to have the full social experience out on the AT, starting late February and any time in March, you're gonna really get that because there's so many people out there. So don't be afraid, don't worry about it. Get out there, meet some new people. That was a lot of fun, as I met so many new hiker friends that are friends to this day. And we all keep in touch through Facebook, and we watch each other and what they're doing with their lives, and that's so much fun. You make such great friendships out there, whether you're with a tramily or not. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the trail, the camaraderie and being at the campfire and talking to people, sharing stories, sharing experiences, talking about gear. All of that is so much fun, and you really get that out there, whether you're in the bubble, ahead of the bubble, behind the bubble. Either way, you will definitely be seeing people out there and sharing as much as you want to with them. And that leads me just to a side note. That's why people have trail names, is so that for safety reasons, people are usually given a trail name and they go by just their trail name. So my trail name is Ultra Runner. For short, they called me Ultra, and I'll use the same trail name going again in 2021. But for safety reasons, it was a lot easier, and it was easier to remember people's trail names than it was their real name. And second, it was just, it seemed to be a lot safer on the trail to go by your trail name and not your real name, just so that everybody wasn't aware of who you are, where you're from, and you don't want any kind of stalking situations or having that kind of opportunity. So that's what I think. That's what I think about starting early, starting alone. Don't worry about it. You'll make friends out there no matter what, and have a blast out there. Make some great memories, make some new friends. They will last with you a lifetime, for sure. So have a great time, and I'll see a lot of you guys out there this year. All right.